Today, I thought I would do something fun, something from Chinese astrology. A Chinese restaurant first introduced me to Chinese astrology, but Chinese medicine had me researching Chinese astrology. And have you heard about your 4 pillars of destiny? That's what we're going to look at today. What it is and how you can find your 4 pillars of destiny.
Hi, I'm Kim from Best Acupuncture. I'm a licensed and practicing Chinese medical provider focused on making Chinese medicine more accessible to you and helping you to help yourself so you can help the world. Hey, if you're new here to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button down below and the bell up above so you don't miss any future episodes.
In ancient China, the 4 pillars of destiny represented you in a holistic way. And I think in my episode, The Tao of Herbs, I talk about this concept of holistic in Chinese thought. These 4 pillars identify your strengths, weaknesses, some of your characteristics, how your relationships in the world might work, and your life's potential. Now, these 4 pillars of destiny outline the spiritual framework you brought into this life, and you can think of it as your genetic blueprint, but from a spiritual perspective. Cool, huh? And just like your genetic blueprint, it identifies potentials. Cancer, diabetes, heart disease. These are really big players today in health, and science has found that if your family has a history of any one of these, you're more likely to get it. But not everyone in the family gets it. Why is that? Genetics. That is the thought behind genetics. Lifestyle can override your genetics. And you know a lot about your genetics today because Western science focuses on the physical body. And because you know this, you can make health decisions to improve and maintain your health. Well, that same information is available concerning your spiritual health and life potential through the 4 pillars of destiny. So if you know your emotional strengths and weaknesses, how your brain prefers to think, or what energetics might work for or against you, you could navigate your way through life to ensure the best option for having a happy life. Interesting, huh? Chinese astrology tells you what is happening, and your 4 pillars of destiny give you direction on how you can positively work with it. What are the 4 pillars of destiny? Well, the 4 pillars of destiny are your year of birth, the lunar month of your birth, the day of birth, and the hour of birth. And Western astrology has similar things. It has your sun sign based on the day of birth, your moon sign based on the moon's location, and rising based on your hour of birth.
You know, I don't think there's anything like year in Western astrology, but I'm not sure. And there's so many of you out there that know so much more about Western astrology than I do. So, hey, give a girl some help. And if you know something about this, put it in the comments down below. But you know what? Chinese astrology uses this information totally different than Western astrology.
Each pillar represents parts of your life. So the day is the pillar of destiny that stands for you. And You might be thinking about Western astrology and your sun sign, but it's not that. The pillar of destiny for the day tells about your interactions with the world outside yourself. And that really is what Chinese astrology is about. Proactively preparing yourself for your interactions with the world. What about the other pillars? Well, the month tells you about your interaction with people in positions of authority, those responsible for your well being, who teach you social interactions, who help train and guide you. And these would be your parents, teachers, legal systems. And then there's the hour. And the hour is the pillar of destiny that represents how you interact with people and things where you're responsible for them, like your children or your employees, your pets, and your job. It also talks about your hidden desires. And then there's the last pillar of destiny, and that represents the year, and it focuses on prospects in life and how others will see you. The one most of us are familiar with is the year of birth. And I first saw an introduction to the 12 animals in Chinese astrology on a paper placement mat in a Chinese restaurant. And that was also the first time I calculated my Chinese astrological animal symbol. I didn't realize that animal symbology was relatively new in Chinese astrology, and it may be Buddhist monks created this symbolism sometime during the Tang Dynasty around 800 AD. And historians speculate that they created this animal symbols to make it easier to remember and understand the 12 branches in Chinese astrology. And the 12 branches brings up an interesting point. There are two pieces to every year. So knowing your animal sign is one piece of your year of birth, the branch. And the other piece of the information is going to be the stem. Okay, what is this branch and stem thing? Before using animal symbolism, Chinese astrology identified 10 stems and 12 branches. And this stem and branch theory, it's pretty old. It's at least 4 to 5,000 years old, and it goes way back to the Shah dynasty, which is the first dynasty that we really know of in Chinese medicine. It was also used to create their calendar. And sometimes, instead of using Chinese words, you might see the stems represented by numbers and the branches represented by Roman numerals. So the 10 stems numerically with their Chinese name. And there are 12 branches, and here are the 12 Roman numerals with the Chinese name. And, I'm thinking that back when the system of stems and branches was first developed, the words really did have meaning, just like the animal symbols have today. But, over 5,000 years, you use language differently, and words fall out of favor and they're lost forever. So time changed the branches and changed the stem. So they did something similar with the stems, and each stem was assigned to one of the 5 elements. And this is a lot easier to remember than the names. So here you see that like the 5 elements, each of them are assigned to one of the stems. It's in numerical order, and 2 numbers are assigned to each element. I think assigning elements to the stems is even more recent than the animal signs. And I think historians think this may have come out of Mongolia. So the pillar of your destiny for your year consists of your animal sign plus one of the 5 elements. And, this 10-year period from 2020 to 2030 is going to be really volatile. So Here we have 2020 was the year of the metal rat, 2021 is the metal ox, 2022 will be the water tiger, 2023 the water rabbit, 2024 the wood dragon, 2025 the wood snake, 2026 the fire horse, 2027 the fire sheep, 2028 the earth monkey, 2029 is the earth rooster, and 2030 is the metal dog, with 2031 being the end of the 60-year cycle with the metal pig. So I bring that up so you can kind of see what the energetics are going to be covering this incredibly volatile 10-year period of history. Okay, the next pillar, the month of your birth. How do you find the symbol related to the month of your birth? Well, there's a Chinese astrologer that I like following. His name is Derek Walters. He was born in 1936 and he lives in the UK. So he could still be alive today. I don't know if he is, but to find your month of birth, you can do these really long calculations that I've found are prone to errors, or Derek Walters identified a quick and easy way to get an idea of your animal sign for the month using the imperial solar calendar. And you can find this in his book, The Secrets of Chinese Astrology. And if you need a link to this book, you can find it in the video description below. And they really are secrets in this book because he identifies easy ways to calculate all four of these really tedious calculations for the pillars. So here are the imperial solar months, and it's a little different from ours. And along with it, I've put the animal sign associated with that month. Wow, we're up to the third pillar, which is your day of birth. And how do you find the animal sign associated with your day of birth? Okay, so like all of this, well, there's a long road or a short road, and I'm going to vote for the short road. And you know that book I mentioned by Derek Walters, The Secrets of Chinese Astrology? Okay, inside that book, he has a simple method to calculate your day sign that's not prone to arithmetic errors. It literally takes 30 seconds. So, to get your day sign, I recommend you grab his book. It's inexpensive, it's user friendly, and it's quick and easy. Wow, we are at the last pillar, which is the sign associated with the hour of your birth chart. And it's pretty simple to find. So the Chinese hours in the day are split up into 2-hour sequences, starting with the 11 p.m. hour. So each 2-hour sequence marks a new sign, and the signs go in their astrological sequence, starting with a rat and ending with a pig. So here's the 2-hour sequences of the 12-hour days. And some of you probably know that the 2-hour sequences also are attached to one of the organs in Chinese medicine. Okay, so just look at this and grab your sign, and then you have your hour sign. Okay, so there you have it. The 4 pillars of destiny are probably your starting point to forecast favorable days and times for meetings, events, dates, pretty much anything. And if you need help outlining the energetics of a situation so you can determine the course of action that would be most beneficial to you, well, 4 pillars it is. And it's not necessarily predictive. It's more suggestive. Whereas Western astrology might say, it's going to snow tomorrow and you have to wear a coat. Chinese astrology would say, it's probable it might snow tomorrow. Prepare for snow. Well, totally different vibe. From a Chinese astrology perspective, I would think about the impact of snow on my life and what I might do differently to ensure the best outcome for myself. Well, I might say I live in the Pacific Northwest and they don't have much in the way of snowplow, so maybe I decide I'm going to go to work from home tomorrow so I don't have to risk driving. I use a wood burning stove, so I'm going to make sure I get pellets today. Tomorrow comes and I'm home, comfy, cozy, and safe, drinking hot chocolate and listening to tunes where Western Astrology has me grabbing my coat on my way out the house. Driving home from work, the roads are icy and not plowed, and I get into an accident and my coat's not warm enough, and I find myself freezing, waiting for 2 hours to get my car towed. Exhausted, I get home and I find out I don't have any pellets. Pretty frustrating. Different perspectives. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Interested in more information on Chinese astrology? Give the video a like, drop a comment, and until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.